Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. And this whole week I've been doing Shark Week. And today I'm doing the 2011 film Shark Night. Here is your trivia question for today. The sheriff explains that the cameras found on the sharks are the same kind used in what movie? The answer will be at the end of this episode. So, in this film, we watch as a bunch of college friends decide to go to a lake house for the weekend. Specifically, they are going to Sarah's home back in Louisiana, which is not only a lake house, but actually in the middle of the lake. Once they get there, the group has a ton of fun drinking, beer pong, water skiing, and everything seems to be going great. Well, that is at least until Malik falls into the water and ends up coming back up without an arm. Everyone begins freaking out and thinking that Nick must have run it over with the propeller of the boat. But they all soon find out that that's not in fact true. It was actually from a shark. So now the group is trying to figure out the best way possible to get Malik to the hospital, but as it appears, the shark is not letting them do so. Now things only get worse from there as the group finds out that it's not just one shark, there are multiple different types of sharks that have ended up in this lake that are all trying to get them. To make matters even worse, the only people coming to help them, it appears, are two of the locals that they've already had a run in with that also have a bad history when it comes to Sarah. And of course, the sheriff, who may not be all that great at his job. So, will all of these friends manage to figure out some way to get off the lake and get Malik to a hospital? This movie was directed by David R. Ellis. This would unfortunately be his last film, as in 2013 his body was found in his hotel bathroom. No cause of death was released, but at least no foul play was suspected. During that time, he had started to work on the film Kite, but due to his passing, that then transferred over to director Ralph Simon. You might also know this movie as Shark Night 3D. In fact, this was the first 3D shark film to be released since Jaws 3D in 1983, which was 28 years prior. Something that's funny is for 3 years in a row, 3D underwater animal attack movies became popular, as in 2010 you had Piranha 3D, 2011 Shark Night 3D, and 2012 Bait 3D. Also, the original title for this film was supposed to be Untitled Shark Thriller 3D. And the tagline, Terror Runs Deep, is actually taken directly from The Beast by Peter Benchley. Now, it's highly likely that you might recognize some or most of the entire cast from Shark Night, but probably the most recognizable is Donald Logue, who plays the character of Sheriff Sabin. Did you ever happen to notice that Malik actually foreshadows his arm being bit off? When they first get into the lake house, he fakes that the alligator that's stuffed on the mantle is biting his arm. If you know your sharks, here's something else you might have noticed. When Nick is lowered into the water, there is supposedly a tiger shark down there, but when he comes face to face with it, it's actually a sand tiger shark, which is not dangerous to humans. It's mentioned in this movie that there are 350 species of sharks, but that was back in 2011. As of now, in 2024, there are over 1,000 species that are known. Edge Innovations is the company that built the animatronic sharks for this film. They also built sharks for Deep Blue Sea, Austin Powers Goldmember, and the orca in Free Willy. So there's no post-credits scene for this film, but the cast did make a highly amusing music video at the end. The body count for this movie is 9. It was also filmed entirely in Louisiana. So when it comes to the film Shark Night, I like this one. It reminds me a lot of 90s slasher films, but with sharks. I think that the effects look pretty good in it, and for the most part, the acting is okay. I do have to say, though, I feel like the thing that I don't like in this movie is the reason why things are happening. It just feels to me that they're trying to say, yep, those southern people, can't trust them. So I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. And if you liked Shark Night, other movies I recommend checking out are Piranha 3D, Beneath, Anaconda, and Red Water. Now, as for the trivia question from the beginning of this episode, the sheriff explains that the cameras found on the sharks are the same kind used in what movie? So in a moment where it seems like a weird thing to flex on, For some reason, Sheriff Saban mentions and seems very proud of the fact that the cameras on the sharks are the same ones used in the movie March of the Penguins. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews, and if there's a movie you'd like to see get a review, just mention it in the comments.